Work-Life Balance with Allison, and I'm so glad that you took on the challenge to meet with me to talk a little bit about the work-life balance challenges you've had and how you've overcome. But before we even get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself because I know my audience wants to hear about you and who you are and what you do.
First of all, let me thank you for inviting me on the show. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so who am I? I'm Michelle Buckman. I am a certified life and health coach and an entrepreneur in itself. I have multiple hats that I do wear. I'm a creative, a crafter, all of these things all in one. And I'm just me trying to become who God has called me to be.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that you are embracing who you are and using that for the kingdom. So
Yes.
as you're doing your work, do you find that it takes time? Well, how does it work in with your personal life? Let me put it that way. How does doing what you do play with that's your profession? How does it play with your personal life? How do they work well together? And in what ways may there be some kind of tension between them?
Well, with coaching, it's all about transformational. So they all go hand in hand, work life, home life, you
Mhm.
know, uh, it goes hand in hand. And it's in this transformational aspect, it's me actually going in and seeing I'm transforming someone else's life seems to bounce back of me transforming my own life, you know, it's kind
Oh,
of go hand in hand, as I'm taking someone else through the process. And usually when you take somebody else through the process, you had to go through it first. And that's
yeah.
what how it just goes, just intertwined together
Yeah.
with my
You know, I
business.
think, yeah, I think it's all right. I think a lot of people who are working with others use a lot of their own life experiences, right? Uh,
Yes.
the things we've gone through. I think I heard the quote one time that says coaching is just that somebody has gone a step further than you and they're
Yeah.
leading the way. So
Yeah, definitely.
coaches aren't necessarily experts, but they've gotten a little bit more ahead of the process than you have. So they could
Yeah.
definitely kind of warn you about the obstacles as well as maybe uh, illuminate opportunities that maybe you don't know about and you have not seen. Have you found that to
Yeah.
be the case? Do you have a
Yes,
family?
yes. Yes. I have a husband and one son.
Oh, how
Yeah,
old?
he's 19 years old. Yeah.
You
He's
have a
just
young
started.
man in the house.
Yeah, I have a young man that's off at college and it's a bittersweet thing. I'm happy he's gone, but yet I miss him at times. But yes. And it's
Right.
been a great experience. I've had a lot of experience with that young man. They don't teach you in school how to raise kids, especially boys. Oh man, that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're speaking to a mom of four boys, so I do understand.
Gosh, okay, okay.
I, I always tell people I was born to be a boy mom because I mean,
Wow.
where where all my neighbors or friends who had girl children, they would all be panicking about everything. My boys would be climbing trees, getting, I- the hospital knew my name and knew all my
Oh
boys'
wow.
names, the emergency room. They were
Wow.
always one of the other. I'd walk into the emergency room. I was a hospital social worker. I'd walk into the emergency room and they'd say, Allison, which one is it now? Thank God they never called Child Protective Services on me because it was always
Oh
the
man.
boys getting into stuff and getting hurt. And it was like always like trip to the emergency room. Thank God I had good insurance too.
So I should have called on you to coach me through that one. Oh wow.
So yeah, it's a wonder I didn't get gray hair back then. I'm getting it now that they're all gone. But yeah, it was something. But I loved being a boy mom. I really did. I really loved being a boy mom. They were
Really?
always so active. Oh my God, always.
Yeah, I think this one, it can equal up to four because of as much stuff that he has gotten
Mhm.
into. And yeah, jeez. Yes.
So you raised him to 19 and off to college. Kudos to you, Mama.
Thank you.
That,
Thank you.
that is,
Thank you.
that
Thank
is.
you.
So was it after that you decided to pursue your professional career, or were you pursuing a professional career while you were raising him?
No, when I was raising him, I was raising him. I was home. I was here when he, got home. I raised him. And so I was here actively full time. And I'm
Oh,
glad I was at that, to be in his life, to be able to be home with him during
mhm.
those years, because that really put a stamp on everything. It laid a foundation that I knew when he went away that he was going to be okay, even though it's going to be a struggle for me to miss him. But
Mhm.
past that, as being a Christian white woman, it's just I knew that he was going to be, because we laid that foundation of faith in him, when he was
Fantastic.
younger. So, and I think
Good.
I did share about he left me at 14. So to leave me at 14, yeah,
Oh,
that
wow.
was that was a challenge.
Goodness. Oh, yeah, I
That
couldn't
was a
imagine.
challenge.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. Oh, but I'm glad to hear that even now at this point in time, you've taken on some other challenges. You trained and got certification and coaching.
Yeah, actually, yes. Before, yeah, because I have, like I said, many hats. Uh, Before I had him, well, after I had him, I'm a hairstylist and also a masseuse.
Mhm,
So yeah, I was doing that while raising him, just on the side,
mhm,
but home mostly. But yes,
mhm.
after I think in his high school, ended of the high school year, I started pursuing the coaching. Um,
Okay, all right then.
yeah.
Okay, so hairstylist, masseuse, taking care of your son, your husband,
Mhm.
right, the household, and all of that stuff.
And then we have a business, a natural area services business where we treat the environment.
Okay, so is that a business your husband worked in, or
Yeah,
that was
that's
his
our
business?
business. That's our business.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
your husband's an entrepreneur. He already
Yes.
had his own business. Okay,
Hmm.
right. What role did you play in supporting him with that business?
All woes.
You're
All
chief cook
woes.
and bottle washer?
I'm executive. I call myself CEO of Buckman Enterprise. Buckman is my last name, and I'm
Mhm.
CEO of it.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you a question. Now that you're
Sure.
doing this other thing, is he CEO of what is your business called?
Total
Transformation?
transformation. No, he's not. But he is, I can say, very supportive of it. Um, Always asking how I'm doing,
Okay.
just always what is it that I need to have done, you know. And he sees me going, sometimes he sees me going to the next level and it's like, oh, okay, well, let's slow down, So yeah, he actually pushing me out of our business, our home business, and wanted me more into the coaching side of it because he see the excitement, the lit up, my face, it just lights up when I'm with the client after having the session with a client. So
How wonderful is that?
yeah,
I love that you talk about him seeing you lit up when you're in your element, when you're doing what you're doing there. That is such a valuable thing to have.
yes,
Somebody who sees you engage in something that you really enjoy and not only is cheering on the sidelines for you, but is actually setting up the environment in such a way that you can be successful at it.
yes, 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 yes. Yes, and I'm really, like I said, blessed to have that. I really am because, like I said, I cannot imagine, uh, as you know, like I was saying, all the other stuff. Because with the other business, I do a lot of things in our other business, but yet being able to be supportive, as you said, he's allowing me to let some of those jobs, responsibilities go, so I can be fully engaged in the coaching business.
Yeah, yeah. We see that so frequently in when I do see work-life balance issues, which is what I work with. What I see typically when there is a tension is
Mm.
that support is not there. There's
Right,
the
right.
expectation that yes, I want you to be successful, but that's you do you, babe. That's you.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
girl,
yeah. Go girl. Yes,
be
yes, yes.
strong. But yeah, where's dinner? And did you take care of the kids? And is the house clean?
Now
And
listen, I'm not saying he's fully all the way. He will make dinner, but yet, as women, we'll make the dinner, we wash the dishes, and we even put them away. So when I say he's supportive, he will have the dinner ready. But okay, who's washing? I'm washing the dishes now. I'm have to put them away. I want a little bit more, a little bit more support.
And when you see
You know?
an imbalance like that, and again, that's not a break it kind of thing. But it's just natural. I think women see what they need and men see what they need.
Right.
But there's got to be what communication, right?
Communication. Yeah.
Right.
Allison, that's the first, you hit it right on the head. I think we've been married 24 years. And I think that's the one thing that we have to really, really, that we really kind of try to, the communication. Because if we have good communication, I don't care what comes up, we understand. We always say, are you listening to me? Are you listening to respond? Are you listening to understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying to you? And we try to do that back with each other. Now, is this what you're saying? Because my husband would sometimes get like, he just interpret what he thought was meaning, and that's not what I meant. No, that's not, no, I didn't want them type of flowers. No, I said roses. You know what I'm saying? You only got daisies. I said roses, and you not understand. But yeah, I think you hit it on. It's communication. It all boils down to communication. You
Yeah,
have to be able to communicate
I
and
can't
understand.
tell you, yeah, I can't tell you how many times the topic of communication comes up when I coach on work-life balance. It could start
Mm,
as anything, but somewhere or the other, it always kind of titrates down
ties
to
back.
occasion, and it's, expectations that are unsaid and unmet, and people get
Right.
hot, bothered, and oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a second. Did you communicate? And then how did you communicate that?
Okay.
Because when you're burnt out because you're striving after success and you're tired and upset or angry, and sometimes your anger is not about anything in the house, maybe it's something out there, maybe a business deal that's not going well, but you bring that home and then you look at the dishes that weren't washed or something
Okay,
like
and it
that.
triggers. It
And it
triggers what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. And you have to know the difference. Where is that coming from? What is the root of why the dishes shouldn't have made me that angry, but it had to do something with something else. So
correct.
totally agree on that.
Totally agree. Yeah. So
Identify.
yeah, and that's part of the challenge of having your professional and your personal life, I say, play nicely together. They can, but there are some
Mm,
adjustments as women that we need to make, men too, but today I'm talking primarily about women, and
mm.
they're the ones I'm
Okay,
most
yes.
concerned with. And that's why I'm glad you're on, because you've been able to navigate that. You've been able
Hmm.
to keep the lines of communication open. There are other areas of tension too. I'm wondering if you've experienced any of those in terms of managing uh, your time and how you allocate time to certain things. Have you had any degree of tension in that area, or has it flowed very smoothly with you?
No, it's not flowed very smoothly. No, and I'm still working on that with the
Yeah.
timing, allowing, certain amount of time in this area, moving on
Uh,
to the next area. Yeah. Not
okay.
spending so much time here, and then I got to cut short over here because I was too much engaged in this thing here. So
Mm,
yeah, that's a tension. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely something more to work on. Because as women, when we get into engaged in something, it just seems to, and especially if you're enjoying it, the time just goes. And then
Mhm,
before you know, oh my, I didn't even get dinner on. So now I'm rushing to go get dinner on, But I do have to say, Allison, that I have the type of husband I can give him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
mhm.
and go back to it. Okay. So yeah, it's like, yeah, but yeah, I'm still for me, myself, I'm working on that, because
Yeah.
I have my hands in a lot of different areas, things that I like to do. So
Thank you for saying that. I love that you said you could give him peanut butter jelly sandwich or peanut butter sandwich. I told somebody a long time ago that one of the most loving things my husband ever said to me when we were first married, he said to me, listen, don't make me anything to eat that it takes you longer to make than it takes me to eat. Now,
that's
was
a
that not
keeper.
love?
That's a keeper.
That's a key.
That's a keeper.
And I look at him because me with my Caribbean self, I make food and it's,
Yeah,
you
you
got
guys, yeah.
season and you got to put marinade and it takes a while,
Yeah, yes, yes.
Babe, I will eat anything. Don't spend so much time. Don't make it take longer for you to cook than it does for me to eat. I'm like, oh
I
wow.
love that. I love that. But see, that's good because that's my husband. What you just make me a sandwich and I'm good. And I was like, okay. So
Yeah,
yes, that is a blessing.
that's and if anything we could do in this little snippet of a podcast here is we could advise women to find men like that, especially if you want to be a professional and if you want to
Yes,
move forward in your career or your education. Girls, anybody out there listening to us, find a man who's a keeper, who says
yes,
things like that. All the I love yous in the world will not replace
place that.
somebody
Yeah,
who says, sweetheart, I want you to take care of you and, take care of me, but don't take care of me in a way that sacrifices some of the things that you
wow.
enjoy
Yeah,
doing.
that's definitely a keeper.
So definitely. So any ladies out there listening to us, those are
Yes,
those are the words you want to
those
hear.
are the words you want to hear.
Absolutely. So now when you had your son, how did that
Mhm.
change the dynamics of things? I mean, were you able to kind of shift around properly? Because I'm assuming prior to your son, you may have been more engaged in a work life area.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when I had him, that's when I came out of the work life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I
But
came home to be a full-time mom.
mhm,
So,
okay.
which allowed, and I think I praise God, which the business that we had allowed me to be able to do that. Now, there are some women that you get pregnant, have the baby, you come home, and you what, 2 or 3 months, and you back in the office. I didn't have to do that. I was able to come home and, like I said, be with him
Good. So
the
you
whole
did not
time.
so you did not have to make that choice because you're right. There's a lot of women out there who have to choose between work and staying home.
Mhm.
They say, well, listen, I have to take this baby and take him into daycare. And God bless them, they're
Yes,
making the
yes,
best choice for their lives at the time. They may not
right.
have this financial support or the support there for childcare, so they have to do that. But
Mhm.
you looked at your choices and you saw what was best for you and your family, and you were able, by God's grace, to be able to stay home with your son. Okay.
Right, right. And actually, it's funny because my husband really wanted it. Not that mommy really wanted it. After the
Mm.
couple of months, to be honest, I was ready to go back. I was going, okay, I need somebody to talk to. I'm tired of baby talk.
Yeah.
Because I'm an entrepreneur. I love people. I love, conversation.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm glad I did not force it, that I went with the wishes of what my husband, because it turned out I think it turned out great. A lot of things I was able to catch uh, with him that you get busy and you won't be able to catch it with children, with kids, period. Yeah. Because I have a
Yeah.
young lady that I'm coaching now. She's 12, and the parents are not catching it. Yeah. This is interesting. And I'm sitting here saying, wow. But you know what? I'm at a space in her life where I'm giving her some tools that she can use for the rest of her life, you know, and can't help what happened prior, but moving forward, she'll have some things to be able to use that
Well,
I know that. Go ahead.
no, I said I'm happy that you're using your experience to influence young lives because she's coming up. And if you
Yeah,
could help her be proactive to not avoid mistakes and
right. Yeah.
be trying to remediate them, that is another good use for coaching too,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
be proactive. I when I approach coaching from my 27 years as being a psychotherapist, people say, why are you going to go into coaching? I said, I see psychotherapy as remediative, like the problem's already there, the diagnosis is already there. Now I'm diagnosing and I'm treating. I
Okay.
see
Yeah.
coaching as proactive. I want to get in there before the problem exists to such an extent that it has to be diagnosed and treated. I saw
Mhm.
so many women, professional women, moving forward in their careers or their education, and they had not put in place strategies to handle the stress, to handle the tension, to handle the commitments. They didn't know how to say no. They didn't know how to set boundaries. They didn't know how to articulate their desires to the people who were the nearest and dearest and really were their chief supporters. But these people cannot support and cheer for something that that person couldn't even articulate.
Right, right.
And
Awesome.
yeah, and so there were so many areas that were coming up. Some of my clients were lawyers, were principals, were nurses in ICU. They had these thriving careers, but they were depressed, they were anxious, they a lot of weight gain and hypertension and so many
Mhm.
things going on. And then when we sat down and we looked at it and we looked at some of the behaviors they developed over time as they were moving forward without paying attention to everything else, we're like, okay, we got to kind of roll this back a little bit. And once we started to get things in order and strategize their life in a better way, sleep, they were sleeping better. They were managing their time better. The stress was reduced. Their physical health improved. And I thought to myself, well, this could have all been done proactively. And they could have
Mhm.
been engaged in their career with greater joy. It's a shame that it had to get to this and they had to come to see me as
This
a
one.
psychotherapist to get the help that they need. So I knew that as I was retiring from psychotherapy, that there was space there for me to be able to come in and maybe work with some of those women in a way to say, listen, I want you to move forward in your career, if that's
Right,
what you
right,
want to do. But I kind of would love for you to miss some of that pain and not
right,
have to
right.
go through all of that of broken relationships, poor health, poor stress management, and be able to joyfully engage and do hopefully what God has purposed for you to do in
Yeah.
the career. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. And I think everybody has a story about
Right,
how
right.
they got there. So that's why I'm passionate about work-life balance. It's not to
Yeah.
me just something up there. I see how it's important so that you can be
Right.
healthy moving forward.
Yeah. You speaking, that's so true about balance because that was one thing that I am so on, and that's why I like working with women. Also is a passion of mine because I found myself, going. And you have to have balance. As women, we can take on or we can do a lot, but we got to know how that word no
Mhm,
and be okay with it.
mhm,
No, I can't come over today. No, I can't do your hair. No, I'm not available. And it's okay, you
mhm,
know? And a lot of times we struggle with what the other person is going to say. I think of us when we say no, but really we're letting them know we're putting boundaries. You have to know how to put boundaries and let
mhm,
people know your boundaries. Because if you don't, they're going to always be at you, at you, at you. But it's letting them know, giving them boundaries, giving yourself boundaries so they won't have, come into those boundaries. But and so taking care of yourself, that is a must, Allison, I think,
It
for
is.
us women, because we do take care of ourselves. I've started a yoga class. And when I
Mm,
tell you, I feel so much better. I feel,
great. Good for you. Good
I
for
mean,
you.
the clarity in my mind.
Mm,
I'm learning to, okay, Michelle, take time for you. You've been there for Titus, which is my son. You've been there for Troy. You're there for your mother all the time. You're there. You're that person, but guess what? You're gonna do them no good if you're not good, feeling
absolutely.
good.
What do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Right,
And
right.
yeah,
So just that
yeah.
just that in itself, putting that into my, like you said, the schedule, working that in, it's been a game changer.
Fantastic. I love to hear that. I love to hear when women say they're taking care of themselves in not the foo-foo way. I mean, it's all good to go get your nails done and go to the spa and all that, so if
Yeah,
you can
but
afford it, but I think it has to be in a more, what's the word, realistic way, taking the time to
yeah.
eat right, to exercise, to socialize. I have a little tool that I use with my clients, and I said there has to be activities in all four areas of your life to be able to have a good balance, which is your physical, your spiritual, your social, and your intellectual, psychological, or whatever. I forget. It's a little tool that I use. But when we talk, we do an assessment, and lots of times I'll find women will have a lot of activity in one quadrant and not
And
much
that
activity in the other three. And
is
I'm
it that
like,
will of it's like that will of life thing.
yes, very much so. So it's a
Yeah.
matter that how we look at everything. I mean, if you're not intellectually stimulated, physically stimulated with work and physical activities, spiritually even, I mean, what's going on? What's your purpose? What are you thinking about yourself as, just a
Mm.
being
Ooh,
in this
that's another one. Yeah.
all those things play into whether you're going to have good work-life balance. And I think once you
Mhm.
kind of address each of them, and it's not going to look the same between for you and me. What's going to work for you may not necessarily work for me. It may be a
Right,
little bit
right.
different. But once you get it, you know when you're in balance because you feel it. You feel it. You're like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm not waking up anxious about things. I know I've got this going on. I've got that going on. I've set my boundaries. I've learned how to articulate them, make it clear. One thing about boundaries I learned to work with women on because I had to discover this as I was working with women. The thing about boundaries that I discovered is for many people, boundaries aren't set because of fear. They fear if they say no, it will disrupt the relationship. They fear
Right.
the anger or the disappointment or whatever that would come back, the negativity that would come back from saying no. And they learn and discover, oh my goodness, instead of disrupting relationships, being able to set good boundaries helps relationships. It
Yeah, it
strengthens
improved it.
relationships.
I'm telling you. Yeah,
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
right?
People become now. At first, there may be a little bit of pushback, and I always warn them. There may be a little bit of pushback. That person you say no, they're like, "Oh, she said no today, but she'll say yes tomorrow." Oh, come on. Oh, come. But I said, you don't only set a boundary, but you have to maintain it. Otherwise, people get
Mm.
confused. If it's no today and yes tomorrow, people are
Right,
always
right.
going to be trying to aggress your boundary. So you have to set it and you have to maintain it. And after a
Mm.
while, people learn how to work within the boundaries that you set with them. It's
Right.
less, yeah, it's less anxiety producing for them. It really is. When I started to work from home, I love my mother dearly. And if she listens to this, she'll be like, why is that girl talking about me again? I love her dearly, but she had access to me that was unfettered access. And I had to set
Mm.
a boundary and I had to say to her, Mom, just because I'm in the house doesn't mean that you could just walk in and say, come on, let's go out for lunch. Come on, let's do this. Come on. I'll wait for you. What? No, Mom, do not wait for me. Do not even come over. I'm working from 9 to 3 or 2, whatever my time. So my mom and I have a call in the morning. And I always say to her, Mom, I've got so many clients. I'm not going to be available. And she says, okay. And she means that. You've
Yeah.
just told me, do not, don't be in the neighborhood, drop by. Yeah, and she always means well. It's always like, I'm taking you to lunch, or there's a sale at so and so, let's go shopping. Or, she's like my best friend. We could go shopping and stuff like that.
Man, you are on the same page. That's how my mom is. She's retired and I hear my ding ding go off and it's mommy pulling up in the yard. I'm like, Mom, don't you want to just let's go shopping because we love shopping, right? But I can't go all the time.
That's it. But that's what we had to do, Michelle. We had to set a little boundary. We had to set a little code. I'm like, I call her in the morning. I said, listen, I'm gonna go take a shower. I've got my first client at 9 o'clock, and then I'm going full until 2 o'clock. And she's like, oh, so you're not available for lunch? No, not today. But tomorrow I'm free if you want to go out someplace. So I give her my calendar because I do love spending time with her, and I don't want her to, not have opportunity to be with me.
Right, right, mommy.
My boundaries, Mom. So she no longer comes and she used to come and say, "Oh, I'll just sit and wait until you finish." No, you can't just sit and wait till I'm finished because it's a distraction. So yeah, so it's little
That's
things
sweet.
like that, and
Yeah.
it's easier for her too because then she could plan her day and say, "Okay, I can't bother Allison, even if I want to go hit this sale. I have to go find somebody else." So that's it. So it frees them up, it frees you up, and it makes the
Right.
relationship better. It makes the relationship better.
Much better. Yeah. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, I loved our conversation. I enjoyed it, and I
Yes, it
thank you
was.
so much for giving this time for it. And um, I pray that somebody who has listened to this podcast or viewed this video um, vlog, I think video podcast is a vlog, viewed it will understand that having good, healthy boundaries and being able to manage the professional and the personal is possible. It's doable. Here's
Yes.
evidence. There's Michelle Bookman, there's Allison, there's evidence for it. You don't need to be
Yes, it is.
stressed and depressed trying to move forward and advance in your careers. You don't have to give up your career or give up the idea of having a good personal life with relationships with people that you love and raising kids, one or the other, or tension. You could have both of them by being intentional in how you move
Mhm.
forward in that. Would you agree with me on that, Michelle?
Yes, I do agree. Intentional.
Good.
Yes.
Absolutely. And anybody listening, if you need any help with that, I think that how you would do well to contact Michelle. Michelle, tell them how they could contact you.
You can contact me at totaltransformation08@gmail.com.
Excellent. And I will post a link to how they could reach you, your email. And certainly you could contact me, Allison Vanilla, at Allison B Coaching. And of course, my information is available too. But I would pray that you have a blessed day, all my listeners. And I thank all our listeners for participating through your presence. And Michelle, thank you. And we'll be talking again later. Okay?
Yes, thank you too, Alice. All right. Have a great one.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.